Hi folks, I'm glad you're all here. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been about a week since I've done the news roundup after the holidays. Yeah, things are back to normal now. The world isn't. Things are escalating around the world. Today is January 6, 2024. South Korean media stirs controversy around Taiwan's submarine program ahead of election. 2 engineers employed by a marine consultancy are under investigation for allegedly leaking submarine blueprints and technology to Taiwan's China Shipbuilding Corporation. There in Australia, a homeless man who broke into a nursing home has been charged with alleged sexual assault of a 76-year-old who was in their care. You have heard about all the threats of a cyber attack shutting down the world's internet. Well, experts say that it's unlikely. One of the hacks to Victorian government that they paid the ransom to hackers. Evidently, most hacks are not reported. Yeah, not often we hear about our personal information being released or taken by hackers. Hackers now are evidently targeting small businesses. I think the reason, in my opinion, why these hacks are not reported is because if people knew about how much hacking was actually going on around the world, we would demand that more law enforcement prosecution is done, just like our border. Yeah, it's being allowed to happen. Now, I'm not sure, but this might be the second flight that had to make an emergency landing. This was in Portland, Oregon. The plane, which was only 2 months old, had the side of it. It was not an emergency door. It was one of the rear exit doors. Suddenly explode and blow out. One of the passengers, a child, 6 years old, actually had his shoe sucked off his foot and out the gaping hole. The plane, a Boeing, like I said, was only 2 months old. Recent storms there in the UK have forced thousands of people to evacuate in England. They're saying that some of these people won't be able to go back home until winter is over. One area was saved by beavers. The local beavers had built a dam which protected some of the homes in that one area. Also there in Australia, they're having a backup, an overload of emergency calls for people needing to go to the hospital. One woman claimed she was lucky to be alive after waiting for an ambulance for over an hour, and then it says she was ramped for 5 hours at the hospital. Does that mean she was outside on the ramp before she was admitted? Also there in Australia, one man did die after waiting for an ambulance for over 10 hours. Sounds like they have a shortage of staff. Ambulance workers are saying that they've had to work over 11 hours with no breaks because of the overload of calls. In the capital city of Lebanon, there in Beirut, evidently a Hamas leader was killed, and Hamas is now saying they're going to retaliate. Yep, the war there in the Middle East is spreading to the other countries now. North Korea fired over 200 rockets into an area, an island off of South Korea, which created the evacuation for people to go to bunkers. Evidently today there was another 60 rockets fired to the same location. North Korea says it's no longer going to try and reunify with South Korea, that South Korea has become too westernized and now is considered an enemy of North Korea. They have targeted this area in the past, which makes me wonder why they're targeting the island off the coast there, close to the border with North Korea. You can see it drawn out here in yellow. Why are they targeting that area and not someplace closer inland? I think it's probably just a show of force. They are a day ahead of us, and this evidently was on Friday. South Korea issues evacuation orders for 2 of its islands as North Korea fires more than 200 shells. The FDA issued a recall for some kind of snack. Some hospitalizations have been required after being linked to charcuterie sampler products. 24 people across 14 states are part of the outbreak caused by salmonella. It says patients in this outbreak became sick between November 20th and December 18th. And some of the implicated products have a best sell date by April 27th. Generally, for every patient infected with salmonella infection, there are 29, are not identified. The true number of sick people in this outbreak is likely much higher than the number reported. Usually it takes 3 to 4 weeks to determine if a person who got sick is part of the outbreak. The products were shipped to Sam's Club Distribution Center in Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, and Texas. And from there, they were distributed to other states. Sorry, I don't have an image of the product that was recalled. A woman there in Florida had her entire driveway slab stolen. Evidently, supposedly, it was a mistake in addresses. And she was gone for the holiday, and when she came back, nothing but dirt. A New York City subway train derails in collision with another train, injuring more than 20 people. For some reason, one of the trains was stopped on the tracks. Near Aberdeen, South Dakota, 2 people were rescued. Thank God they were alive when they got trapped inside a grain bin silo when they were cleaning the auger. Pepsi Company products have been removed from supermarket giant shelves over unacceptable price hikes. Evidently, in the last year, prices have gone up 16%. But it's not just Pepsi drinks, it's also their food snacks. According to multiple reports, the chain, which has over 12,000 stores worldwide, started clearing Pepsi, Cola, Pepsi, and 7-Up products, Lipton Tea, Quaker Foods, as well as Doritos and Lay's potato chips from shelves in France, Italy, Spain, and Belgium. Hereford already issued concerns about the cost of food products and added price warnings in September to pressure the manufacturer to reduce costs. So what they did was shrinkflation. They reduced the volume weight and kept the prices the same. Well, so for a quick break in all the bad news, we'll give you a cute little video of a dog playing on a snowy hill. There he goes. Yep, he really enjoys it. Look at that. And then he shakes off, lays down, and off he goes down the slopes again. Here in South Dakota, Siouxland Christian schools will have armed staff on campus. The teachers are going to be carrying weapons now to protect the students. Friday, I believe it was, there was a B-1 bomber crash at Ellsworth Air Force Base. That was near the Black Hills, Rapid City, South Dakota. And this here is a Ring doorbell of that event. It was quite a ways from where it actually occurred. It's back up over here, and it was still dark. There's some talk saying that it was foggy out. Could have been. But it actually crashed on the runway, and the 4 people in the B-1 bomber managed to eject safely. Did you hear about the young man that went to Bass Pro Shop and went fishing in their giant aquarium? Well, evidently, more recently, a nude man was nabbed by police after he did a cannonball plunge into the giant aquarium there at Bass Pro Shop in Alabama. So it's not just Chinese balloons that the government tries to cover up and not tell us about. Evidently, the Defense Secretary Austin has been in the hospital since January 1st, and they kept that news quiet. He evidently had some kind of complications for a simple surgery. Some more cute news. Here we have a handicap, looks like a type of poodle with a back wheelchair because he's paralyzed, being pulled up from a sand trap by another dog helping him out. Yeah, we all need friends like this. Another cute video in Istanbul, Turkey. This cat trying to go up the wrong way on an escalator. Keeps trying to go up. And you can watch this. At the end of the video, someone actually picks him up. There he is. And takes him to the other side so that the cat can get up to the top of the moving stairs. And there he goes. Yeah. He kind of looks back and is like, oh, thank you. Someone actually helped me. But at the beginning of the video, look at him. He runs up. Yeah, he's trying to go up and he isn't having very good luck. He comes back down. I'm surprised his tail didn't get stuck at the bottom when it comes down. I think he poops out, decides to give up, and then some man comes along and helps him. Yeah, there he is. He's going to try and do it again until the man came along. Look at that. Yeah, there is good people in the world. I figure you always can judge a person how they take care of their pets. Yeah, if they don't take care of their pets or if they have no pets at all. I mean, it could be other reasons, but if they don't like pets, yeah, that's a person to stay away from. So evidently because of that other airline, the Boeing jet, passenger jet that blew out, Alaska Airlines is going to ground 737 9 aircraft after the mid-air window blows out of a flight from Portland, Oregon. It wasn't just the flight, it was the whole side of the plane. I already showed you that. There in Japan, after that devastating earthquake, they're saying now that the death toll has reached 100, and survivors are still being found in homes smashed by the earthquake there. Terrible. Off the coast of Los Angeles, evidently, the military used to dump all kinds of old munitions, and they're not sure about the risk of what's down there. They don't know what was dumped down there. Here's another article about that major store that has dropped Pepsi Lay as Europeans battle with high food prices. In France, food rose more than 7% year over year. In December, prices peaked in March of 2023, surging 16%. I've talked about Jace Medical, which is out of Canada, to get emergency supplies for a year of antibiotics. Well, evidently the FDA has now cleared the way for Florida, first in the nation plan to import lower price prescription drugs from Canada. A long-sought approach to accessing cheaper medication that follows decades of frustration with U.S. drug prices. Yeah, the local prescription companies are not going to like this at all. I woke up this morning, today, Saturday, and there was probably close to 2 inches. Here's the images of little footprints left by the bird by the front door. Gillis Johns, who played in a lot of popular movies, she was the mother in the original Mary Poppins, died at 100. There in Greece, they had a magnitude 4.1 earthquake, which was an intensity level of 5, which means they probably have a damage. Many of you might remember the Mutual of Omaha's TV show, Wild Kingdom. Well, evidently they're bringing that back. There in Southern California, Burbank, California, Metro bus driver was attacked, raises concern over the lack of public safety. Yeah, they didn't notify the public about how many attacks are done there, going to and from, waiting for your buses. Drivers have been attacked multiple times, and a lot of the drivers are looking for jobs elsewhere. Some people put an envelope on their counter that had $4,000 in cash. Evidently, they're going to use the money for some kind of community improvement program, and the dog ate the money. So they've been waiting for it to do its duty, poop, and they've only collected about $3,300 that the dog ate, and waiting for it to either barf up or poop up the rest. Christian Oliver, who was an actor in several movies, Speed Racer is one, was killed in a plane crash there in the Caribbean. There was 4 deaths, the pilot, himself, and his 2 young daughters. Actor David Soul, who played in the TV series Starsky and Hutch, died at 80. Rest in peace. Yeah, so many people are just being called back to heaven. Very sad. That's him right there. This is definitely organized crime. There in East Los Angeles, a Compton bakery just recently reopened after a raid by dozens of thieves. Yeah, it's like, get a job if you want food. First they backed a van, an SUV, it looks like, into the front windows, and then dozens upon dozens of young people, these were all young people, decided to help themselves from all the food that the bakery was selling. Also there in Southern California, they had a magnitude 4.2 earthquake. It was, in fact, along the San Andreas Fault Zone. There was report of light damage in Little Creek, California. That's where that earthquake occurred. An earthquake west of Mount St. Helens had a magnitude 3.3. It was relatively shallow, and this was from plate movement, continent movement. You're going to see more and more of that. Yep, more earthquakes in diverse places. This Twitter post reminded me of Jurassic Park. If you look at what it looks like, I'm not sure what type of critter it is, but just another day in Australia. Yeah, they have some very unusual critters there, don't they? I posted a video about that B-1 Lancer bomber jet that crashed here in South Dakota. They haven't used it to carry nuclear weapons, but it is capable of carrying nuclear weapons, and it still carries all kinds of supersonic type of rockets and missiles and things like that. There's only about 60 of them still in service. They are now going to be building a newer type aircraft. This one here cost about $350 million to build. The newer one that they're building costs $700 million, and they're going to build at least 100 of those. Iran is just spreading its war games everywhere. Yeah, I believe that Iraq is probably going to be part of the last war that we have here on Earth before we destroy the planet. Iraqi police in Babylon discovered a land attack cruise missile of Iranian design that failed to launch. Yeah, looks like it fell off its launching pad. There's an image of it. The use of Iranian-supplied munitions by terrorist group within Iraq and Syria endangers the coalition forces and local residents. Yeah, what was it armed with? Yeah, I doubt if it was a nuclear weapon, but yeah, Iran does have nuclear missiles. Yeah, that's my opinion. They've had them for a long time. In Oregon, microchip technology lands a $72 million grant set to double chip production capability. Yeah, we need this. Salem, Oregon, this man evidently was going around shooting at people, shooting at cars. Law enforcement found justified in killing a man for firing at civilians with a handgun there in Salem, Oregon. You don't need guns or knives to assault people. Evidently, they're at the Tilton Market Basket. Someone was assaulted with a watermelon. Yeah, and they ended up going to the hospital. In Iowa, a 6th grader was killed, 5 others injured after a school shooting by a 17-year-old. He evidently took his own life. One of the reasons why so many schools are now arming their teachers. There in Massachusetts, a dog owner who let his dog go out to do its business one morning had to fight off a coyote who attacked his 3-year-old dog. Good thing the dog was really furry. It wasn't injured. And he picked up a broom and beat off the coyote to save his dog. This evidently was in the suburb of Everett, Massachusetts. A flight that was bound for Boston was diverted to Orlando, Florida, after one of the passengers struck a fellow passenger, evidently who he was flying with. Hit her, punched her. The crew of JetBlue put the woman in the bathroom, and he was pounding on the door and claimed to be the devil. Also, an update about Japan. They're claiming that there's still over 250 people missing. Yellowstone was rocking and a-rolling. During one time period of 24 hours, there was over 59 earthquakes. Nikki Haley, who evidently is running for president, we don't need her to be president or even vice president, says it is inappropriate to call illegal immigrants criminals. Well, they enter our country illegally. They are criminals. This judge in Las Vegas was attacked by a guy who was before her in court when she revoked his bail, I guess, his bond. Yeah, he beat her pretty bad. Yeah. A lawsuit has been filed against Tyson Foods after it closed down some poultry farms there in Minneapolis, I believe it was. Gave no notice whatsoever, forcing people to upgrade and basically buying from the company store everything. They had to buy their food, the equipment, all from Tyson. One farmer only recently signed an agreement with Tyson Foods, only to be told that, yeah, they're no longer going to be buying their chickens a few months later after putting out millions of dollars. So they're being sued. Tyson Foods says it is a $1 billion savings that they're going to have. Are they part of the elite that are going to be building underground bunkers with their $1 billion savings at the expense of Americans? I posted several articles that I found about billionaire Denny Sanford. He evidently started a bank, and that's how he got his money. First Premier Bank, which gave credit to people who didn't have quite good enough credit. And then he started investing in what's called now the Sanford Hospital and different clinics. He's buying up the small town clinics, and has ties to Epstein and his island where they were extracting DNA from fetuses and things like that, and running hospitals. You have to wonder. Another article about Sanford. Sanford University took $50,000 from Jeffrey Epstein's university. Yeah, they didn't want people to know about that. Alex Jones posted a video about Peter Nygard confessing to draining babies' bodies of blood and injecting it into his body. What they do is they take the stem cells. I guess they think it's going to make their lives last longer. Like I said, then I was wondering about the ties of Sanford Hospital. You got to wonder. I hope it wasn't the case, but you got to wonder. Yeah, I wonder about all the other people that visited his island. Leonardo DiCaprio, Kevin Spacey were just two of the more recent ones mentioned. And of course, multiple trips by Bill Gates and the current CI director, William Burns. This government is so corrupt. This world is so corrupt. Sanford is one of the richest people, if not the richest person here in South Dakota. So evidently, ISIS claimed responsibility for a blast there in Iran, 2 blasts that killed 103 people at a memorial service for General Qassem Soleimani's death. Yeah, that surprised me that ISIS did this. I did a video about this poultry farmer or farmers that are suing Tyson for shutting down the Missouri processing plant. Yeah, they're in debt for millions and millions of dollars now. Evidently, the 2023 wheat crops were really bad, so prices are going to go up. Mr. Sanford was under investigation because there was 36 images of children found on his own private cloud storage system. But charges were dropped. They said there was possibility of hacking. But the South Dakota Attorney General was found guilty of hit and run shortly after he dropped charges against Sanford. Yeah, I wonder about that. He had stored nude images of children as young as 8 to 10 years old. This is the article about the Attorney General who was removed from his post after hitting a pedestrian on the side of the road. Hit and run. He left the scene of the accident. The man's face went through the Attorney General's car. His glasses were found on the seat of the car. He claimed he thought he hit a deer, and he's the one that dropped the charges against Sanford. Back on January 3rd, there was a magnitude 2.3 earthquake there in Maryland, and the other one was, well, there was actually 3 of them. One in Maryland, one in Ohio, and the other one by Washington, D.C. These were very unusual earthquakes. It's what they call interplate earthquakes, where they're not supposed to have earthquakes. And I'll end it with this. This is called Mission Impossible. PAW. P-A-W. This cat has learned how to walk on wires to get from one building to another. Look at that. Yeah. Cats are pretty agile. Yeah, I really love my 4 cats. The things that they pull. Yeah, the things they do. I actually had one this morning. I have a large crock pot and a large pressure cooker on the top of my refrigerator. It's large. It'll hold, I believe, 7 quarts for pressure canning foods. And my one cat got up there and actually pushed on the cookware, trying to make room so she could lay on top of the refrigerator. Yeah, cats are cool. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for your support. I got several cups of coffee and some PayPal donations to help me continue my work. I really appreciate it, especially when YouTube is doing so much censoring and not sending out notices. This is why I'm posting this on my other channel. Because if I posted on my main channel, I would probably get shut down. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.